All right, so like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I uploaded this video, right? I'll put it up on the screen. If you haven't watched it, you should definitely go watch it because it's definitely needed to know what's going on in this story. But I uploaded this video and it was really well received and everyone loved the story. It was a funny little story about this dude I used to go to high school with who was kind of an odd guy, okay? Just a little odd. And it was just a funny story. It wasn't anything super crazy, just kind of an odd guy, right? Like I said, go watch the video if you haven't. But I uploaded that video with no second thought. I really didn't think anything would come of it. I didn't really think anything else could possibly come of it because it's just a story from my school experience, nothing that crazy. But I was wrong, like I usually am, and some things have unfolded over the last couple days. And yeah, I'm going to talk about it today, so I hope you enjoy this. Leave a like on the video if you enjoy. I really hope I don't have to make a part 3 to this. Hopefully this is the end of the whatever this is, I don't know. But yeah, let's just get into it. So today's story time all takes place literally over the last 2 days. So a couple days ago, I had just woken up. It was very, very late in the, I guess you could say evening. I don't know. It was like 6 or 7 p.m., right? It was late. My sleep schedule's been terrible the last couple days. But I woke up and I started my day very slowly. The first hour of my day, I was in bed just scrolling my phone, watching TikTok, just rotting my brain. You know how it goes. And then I crawled out of bed, took a shower, got ready for my night, I guess you could say. And I went on my computer. I was finishing up some final touches on an edit, just trying to be productive, right? And while I'm on my computer, I get a DM on Twitter. I looked over at my second monitor. That's where I usually keep my DMs and stuff for Discord and Twitter. And I see that someone DM me. And I look, and it's a friend that I had back in high school who I've not talked to in years. My last conversation I had with him was when I was still in high school with him. So it had been a very long time. I was definitely very surprised to see that he DM'd me. And you're probably wondering, Austin, what did the DM say? It just said, yo. So I thought, okay, he's just checking in. So I replied, and I was like, what's up, man? How you been? And he goes, good. I gotta talk to you. What's your new number? Now, I can't lie. That made me kind of nervous to hear. Because, I haven't talked to this dude in a while, and, right off the bat, he's asked me for my number, and, he's got to talk to me. It sounded serious. So I just replied, and I said, what about? And he said, I really don't want to explain it all through DM. Phone call or FaceTime would be a lot easier. Here's my number. Just call me when you can. So after reading this, I'm like, okay, what the hell? This is kind of weird. But now I'm really, really intrigued. I want to know what he's talking about. So I immediately grabbed my phone, and I FaceTimed him. And this dude answered almost instantly. And he looked so different since I saw him in high school. I almost didn't recognize him. And I probably looked the exact same to him, probably way different. And he was like, yo, dude, how the fuck you been? And I was like, what's up, man? Good, good. He's like, dude, I got the craziest story to tell you. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, dude. I was like, what is it, man? He's like, well, first of all, before I get into it, how you been? I was like, good, dude, good. Just doing the YouTube shit, making videos, doing some music stuff now. Nothing that new, really. Pretty much the same stuff I've always been into since high school. He's like, yeah, dude, actually, that's kind of what I'm calling you about today. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it's about your video recently. And I was like, okay, which one? He's like, that one that you uploaded, not so long ago. It's called Nope. And I was like, yeah, man, that's the one about Jeremy. He's like, yeah, dude, that one. So, I ran into him the other day. And, he knows about that video. Now, when he said this, a lot of things went through my head. The first thing being, how the fuck does he know about my channel all these years later? Obviously, some people in my school knew about my channel. A lot of people did. But when I got out of high school, I feel like most people from my school forgot about it. I don't think anyone really cared that much to keep up with it. So the fact that this dude was keeping up with my channel years after I was out of high school and, keeping up with my current videos, that was crazy to me. I couldn't believe that. But also, my second thought was yo, where the hell did my friend run into this guy at? And, how did they get on the topic of me? So I asked him exactly that. I was like, yo, where'd you see him at? And, how did I come up? And he starts laughing, my friend on the phone. He starts laughing and he can't control himself. He's actually laughing pretty hard. And in my head, I'm thinking yo, what the hell did I say that was so funny? And I'm like, dude, did I say something? And he's like, no, you're just going to laugh really hard when I tell you where I saw him at. And I'm like, oh no, what does that mean? He's like, I saw him at the comic store. Now, where I live in my city, there's a huge comic book store, but they also sell a bunch of other stuff too, action figures and Magic the Gathering cards and anime related stuff like DVDs and comics and pretty much anything vintage and new in nerd culture is at this store. It's just a store for everything nerdy. And there's some cool shit there. I've been there a bunch of times and there is some cool shit. But when my friend told me that he saw him there at the comic book store, I immediately understood why my friend was laughing. I was like, dude, please don't tell me Jeremy was in the anime section when you saw him. And my friend just starts laughing even harder. And he's like, dude, it's worse. I'm like, what do you mean it's worse? He goes, dude, he was in the anime adult manga section. And immediately I'm like, what? So at the store, I didn't know they had this, by the way. Apparently in the back, like the back left of the store, where they keep all like the manga and the anime stuff. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I think it's manga. But in the back of the store, they have an adult manga section, aka rhymes with senpai. It rhymes with that. Section. They have a section for that stuff. I didn't know it existed. But apparently Jeremy was there. And this just made me think like, yo, I'm living in a fucking simulation. There is no way that a dude from a story time that I told, a couple weeks ago about a situation from years ago hasn't changed a bit, right? Anyway, after my friend tells me that he sees him there, I was like, laughing for a good minute. But after that, I was like, all right, dude, like, so what happened when you approached him? He's like, oh, I didn't actually approach him. He approached me. I was in a section like 4 aisles down, and he saw me, and he approached me, and he was like, yo, like, good to see you, man. And I was like, oh, Jeremy, like, what's up? And Austin, bro, like, immediately he brought you up. He's like, you see Austin's video a couple weeks ago about me? And I was like, no, I didn't, because no offense, dude, but I don't keep up with your channel that much. Like, I'm not stalking you like he was, apparently. And I was like, it's all good, man. I'm not offended. He's like, yeah, but anyway, he brought up your video, and then he pulled it up on his phone in front of me and made me watch like 5 minutes of it with him. And I was like, oh my, what? Like, really? He's like, yeah, dude. He showed me this like 5-minute part where you were talking about how like you had to go and like request a new partner on the school project because he kept talking about stuff that made you uncomfortable. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much the story. And he's like, yeah, dude. And he showed me this, like I was on his side, like I wouldn't like you because of it or something. But in reality, I totally understood because I remember being in school with him back in the day and how weird he could get. And I was like, thank you, dude. Like, I'm glad I'm not alone on this. He's like, yeah, man, of course. And I was like, all right, so what happened after that? Like, after he showed you the video, like, what'd he say? And my friend's like, honestly, man, not a whole lot. I kind of wanted him to just, like, go away and, like, fuck off. So I told him that I agreed with him. I said something along the lines of, like, yeah, man, like, Austin shouldn't have made that video. Like, that was lame. Something like that, because I wanted him to leave. And after, like, a couple minutes, he finally did fuck off. But, like, I knew I had to tell you soon, so here I am telling you. And I was like, yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for the heads up. I'll definitely be on the lookout for him. Hopefully I don't run into him in public. And he's like, yeah, man, I hope you don't see him either. And after this, me and him talked on the phone for like 10 minutes, just catching up about other stuff, like kind of just seeing what we've been up to and stuff like that. And we made plans to hang out in like 2 weeks, so I'll be seeing him soon, which is cool. But the story doesn't end there. I wish I could say that's where the story ends, but it gets so much better, okay? So after me and him get off FaceTime, right? The next day rolls around. Once again, I woke up pretty late in the day, pretty much evening time, got ready, got showered. Now, I actually had plans within like an hour to go and see my friend because it was his birthday. He was having a little birthday party at his house. So I got ready very quick, and then I was on my way to my friend's house. I got there. It was a very small birthday party. It was not even like a party, honestly. It was like me, my friend, and like 3 other people. It was a very, very small get-together. He just wanted like all of his close friends there. And we're just hanging out, right, for like the first 20 minutes. Now, this friend of mine, the one whose birthday it was, he went to my high school as well, and he knew about Jeremy. So, like, 20 minutes into the party, I had to bring it up. I was like, yo, you're never going to guess what happened. And my friend's like, what's up? And I was like, I made a video about Jeremy, right? Like, that quiet kid from our school back in the day that was, like, obsessed with anime and shit. He's like, yeah, I remember that, the dude that tried to fight you over it. I was like, yeah, I made a video about him, right? And he saw the video. And this other dude from our high school ran into him yesterday. And, like, he's mad at me about the video. And guess where he was? And my friend's like, what? Where was he? And I was like, he was at the comic book store looking at anime adult stuff. And my friend's like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, no. And then this other dude chimes in the room. He's like, wait, what store was he at? And I was like, why do you want to know? And he's like, you said comic book store? Like, I love comics. And I'm like, yeah, there's a store. It's literally called the comic book store. It's straight up like a mile or 2 from here. And this dude's like, yo, like, can we go? And I was like, I mean, it's up to y'all. And everyone wants to go to the comic book store, right? So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I guess we're going to the comic book store now. So we all left my friend's house, we got in my homie's car, piled into his SUV, and we drove to the comic book store because this dude at the party really wanted to check it out because I guess he really was into nerd stuff. I honestly think he just wanted to see if they were actually selling anime-related adult content, you know? Because he didn't show any interest in the comic book store until I mentioned that part about it. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we pull up to the comic book store, we go in there, and keep in mind, at this point, it's like 8:45, right? It's like literally 15 minutes until 9. And this store closes at 9. So we only had 15 minutes to actually look around and like check it out. So after we walk in, we're just like looking around. Nothing too crazy. Just literally looking at the comics and looking at all the stuff there, all the nerd shit. One of my friends in this group played Magic the Gathering, so he was in that section, like looking at that stuff. And while I was in one of the aisles by myself, looking at the Marvel comics, I hear someone come up behind me. I hear footsteps. And I just thought it was someone looking at stuff behind me or something. But then I hear a voice that sounds kind of familiar. And it says, "Can I help you find anything?" And I turn around, and I am greeted to Jeremy. Yeah, he was there. I almost had a fucking heart attack, dude. And so did he. I could see it on his face, dude. He looked like in fucking shock when he saw me, the same way I did. And I looked at his shirt, and he worked there. He was a fucking employee at the comic book store. And I was like, no, I don't need any help. And he goes, "Austin?" And I was like, "Oh, Jeremy, I knew I recognized you." Like, I'm trying to play it off like I didn't know who he was at first. And he's like, "Oh, how you been, man?" And I was like, "Good. How about you?" And he's like, I'm pretty good, just working here, you know, like doing my thing. And we're just having like the most awkward small talk ever for like a minute or two, right? We're like, "Oh, like, how you been?" "I'm good. How about you?" "I'm good." Like, just real like awkward, right? Like, definitely didn't want to talk to each other. And after like some very awkward small talk, he just goes, "All right, well, if you need any help, let me know. We close in like 10 minutes. And I was like, "Okay." And he leaves, right? Now I'm just standing there, completely just still in shock, on the verge of a panic attack because of the adrenaline going through my body of seeing this like dude that I did not want to see at all. And I'm also confused because like I heard through my friend that he didn't like me, Jeremy. Like I heard that he was mad about my video and was like pissed off about it. But then when he saw me in person, he didn't bring it up at all. He didn't bring up my YouTube. He didn't bring up that video. So I was so confused. Like I didn't know Jeremy's game. I didn't know if he was fucking with me, if he was scared to say something to my face. I don't know. But it confused the shit out of me and it left me very, very just like kind of like anxious, right? So anyway, after he leaves me alone, I go back to my group of friends and I was like, "Yo, we gotta leave. I want to get out of here." And my one friend's like, "Why? Like what happened?" And I was like, "That dude, Jeremy, works here." And they were like, "Oh shit." So my friends got what they wanted to get. One of them got some Magic cards. The other one got a comic book. We went to the front. We're just waiting at the front cash register to get checked out. And none other than Jeremy comes around from the back room and starts checking out my friends, starts ringing them up. And he's asking them like the classic questions you get asked at a store. He's like, "You guys find everything okay?" And my friends are like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, cool." And he's scanning their stuff, taking their money, doing his thing. And after they buy their stuff and it's all bagged up and we're leaving, I turn around just to kind of like look one last time to make sure it was really real, to make sure I was seeing Jeremy in the flesh. And he's staring at me with like a real devious, like kind of grin. And then he waves goodbye. And I like wave back. And I walk outside and we walk over to my friend's car and we get in. And immediately I pull up on my phone and I FaceTime my buddy, the one that saw him there the day before at the comic store and said that he saw him like in the adult anime section. And my homie answers the FaceTime and I'm like, "Yo, so tell me why I just went to the fucking comic book store, bro, and I saw Jeremy there." And he's like, "No way." And I was like, "Dude, you didn't tell me he worked there. Why didn't you tell me he worked there? I would have not went ever again." And my friend goes, "Bro, trust me, he was not wearing a uniform. I would have never guessed that he worked there, bro. Like, he was not wearing a uniform. I swear, you gotta believe me." I was like, "Nah, man, I believe you, but that just means he was there on his off day looking at fucking anime titties." And we both just start cracking up, and so does everybody in the car. And after like a couple minutes talking to my homie, we hung up, and the whole ride home, I was just like in disbelief at the situation. But yeah, fast forward to the next day. Now I'm telling you guys the story. That was the last couple days of my life. And I hope to never see him again. I can't lie. I'm not doing myself any favors by making this video because he's going to see it and he's going to be even more angry at me. And the next time I run into him, he'll probably confront me about my videos because You know, yesterday he didn't. So I don't know. I don't know why, but yeah, that's the update. Yeah, guys, moral of the story is, I don't really know. Just be careful who you interact with, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know what the moral is here. It's just an awkward situation for me. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I will see you all later. Peace.
I'm in a bad mood, I can see it today. I remember all my friends and now I'm all that